Hello everybody, Andrea Twarowski here with Dentalelle Tutoring. This week has been quite a week. I posted about 2 blog articles just pretty much explaining to you how I found school quite tough. I mean, I've been a tutor now for 12 years and I love it, but school to me was not a happy time. I don't remember school as being a happy time. Yes, I met some great people, but in my dental hygiene program, I was happy to say, see you later. I didn't look back and I left there as quick as possible because it was not a fun time for me. And I was being honest when I did say in that blog article that I did cry every single day, literally. I mean, maybe not full out sobbing, but I did cry about something every single day. It could have been because in clinic my patients didn't show up. It could have been my instructors were quite rude to me. It could have been because I had failed a test or an exam or a clinic of some kind. It could have been because we had a few people in our class who were quite rude also, so maybe they were giving us a hard time. Oh my God, just everything. Like we had projects, we had tests, we had exams, we had assignments all at the same time, you know. Group work, I remember quite well. I hated that because you know how there's always somebody in the group who wants to do everything, but then there's also somebody else who wants to do nothing. And I was always the one in the middle where I didn't want to do everything, but I wanted to do something. So it was kind of like, how about you tell me what you want me to do, you know, to that person who wants to do everything, and I'll do it, you know, plain and simple. But I found the people that I was often within school would want to have meetings and work on the tests and projects, but they were fully okay doing it for like 5 hours. And I'd be like, okay, we're putting something on a Bristol board. Can we do this in a half an hour and then leave? Because I, A, had to work, or B, I was so exhausted that I was just excited to go home and take a nap. You know, just things were hard for me. And that's why I totally understand when I have students all the time, you know, come to me, emailing me, sending me a message on Facebook, and just simply saying that school is hard. You know, am I making the right choice? Because school is hard, you know, especially in first semester because it's all new. You're with students who are new. You may see the smarter ones in the class, the ones who are obviously not so smart, and you're probably thinking, okay, they're not going to make it a week. You probably feel like you're somewhere in the middle, but it is hard work because you learn something in class and then, oh, you have a test on it at the end of the week. And you're probably thinking like, oh my God, well, I have 2 other tests for other classes. How am I going to study everything and pass and move on? These are completely common, I guess, thoughts to have, okay? Completely common. I have the same things, but let me promise you that you do push through it and you can do it. But it does help, though, to be organized. Now, how I sort of pushed through it in school, especially when it came to studying for all the tests, for the exams, for doing projects, was I would literally start studying for a test as soon as we heard about it. So we would typically know we had a test coming up either a week or 2 weeks away. I would study a little bit every day, like probably about an hour every single day for all of the tests we had. And then I found that closer to taking the test, say a day or 2 before, I didn't have to study for an hour or 2 hours. I would just have to sort of skim through my notes for maybe 20 minutes, and I felt pretty confident. Now, I got good marks in school, not amazing marks, like none of that, like 99%, but I would get 80 or above all the time. I remember specifically a few tests where I did not. They were probably pharmacology, but also the class average happened to be like 40 or 50. So here I'm thinking, okay, I got a 70 or like a 71. That's still pretty good considering the class average was like 40%, right? because the school that I went to, they would show us the class average and then people's marks by the student numbers. So we would kind of know where we stood, but it was also very intense because we would have to get a 70% in all of our classes to pass and to move on, no exceptions. I think you were able to take a test one more time or something if you failed it. I'm sorry, I can't remember per se, but it was a very intense, tough time. Even when I was in school, though, I would actually study with a group of people, and I loved sort of showing them how to study, what to study, because I did have a knack of picking out the more important points and not studying the things that I was pretty sure wouldn't be on the test because they just didn't make sense or they weren't that important. Now, I wasn't right all the time, but I was right enough that if people were to study with me, they passed. So that's kind of how I started thinking about, you know what, after I'm done this program, I would love to teach. Like, that is something that I would love to do. Because another thing that I noticed was that a lot of teachers taught, but their method of teaching was reading the textbook, or anytime you would ask them a question, they wouldn't know it because they just simply memorized the information, but they didn't know really how to explain it in a different way. And that's something that I quite like to do, is taking something that you don't know and explaining it in a different way. So then you say, oh, now that makes sense. So even though I had a tough time in school and I hated it, I'm not going to lie to you and say it's amazing, because it's not. School is hard, it's impossible, but it's totally worth it because it's not forever, and then you are done. And then as soon as you are finally done, you will feel so amazing and so accomplished is the right word, and you will feel that you can do anything, because dental hygiene school is probably the toughest thing I've ever had to do. I became a dental assistant first. That was also tough, but not nearly as tough as dental hygiene. I don't know why. It could have been the instructors. It could have been my classmates. It could have been me, because I took the dental hygiene program twice. So I'm sure the second time around, I kind of felt like, I know this, I'm burned out, I don't want to do this again. So, you know, that attitude that I probably had did affect me in some way. But let me quickly say, if you haven't seen my previous videos, that I did not fail the dental hygiene program. My college that I went to first for it, they decided to shut down 3 weeks before we were done. So I didn't fail, the school shut down. So that's why I took the program, the whole thing again, paid all the money again. I took it twice. So anyways, so if anybody can say that school sucks, it's me, okay? Because I took it twice. But yeah, you guys, so all I want to say is, if you're a student still in school, especially first semester, even especially the last semester, because things are stressful, because then you kind of know, well, I'm in my last semester, this is it. I have to pass everything. I have to see the patients. I have to clean enough patients' teeth who are DD1s, DD2s, DD3s, or, you know, however you mark it in your school. I have to get this done. But please keep in mind, school is not forever. It's tough, but it does help to stay organized. Study for all of your tests and exams well in advance. In clinic, I found my patients actually by advertising on Kijiji at the time. I made up a pretty amazing sounding poster. I worked in a dental office at the time too, though, so I was able to give them some extra free stuff. So that kind of helped too, I think. But I found my patients from Kijiji. And word of mouth though too, like I would just ask all of my friends who I ever knew. I send like mass messages on Facebook. They didn't actually have this at the time, but now those dental hygiene groups on Facebook and the dental assisting groups on Facebook post something in there. You know, say, hi, if anybody's in the Toronto, Ontario area and would be able to help me to be my patient for 4 to 7 appointments, however much it is, that would be awesome. You know what? Even pay them. You know, I know it sounds horrible, but even pay them, because if they can come to all of your appointments and help you pass and have things be less stressful for you, pay them if you are able to. I didn't pay patients, but I think I was just lucky in the sense that I knew people in my area who could help me. And ask all of your friends and family. But if you're having a tough time, don't be afraid to pay them. Like, I'm not saying pay them a lot, but I'm thinking $50 maybe a person if you're thinking of that. But again, I can't speak from experience because I didn't pay them. I never had to pay a patient, but I know that some classmates of mine did. But they were able to not think about it too much. They had a lot less stress because they knew their patients would actually show up, you know, things like that. But I could talk about clinic forever. I'm going to save that for the next video because there's more sort of tips and tricks that I did when I was in school, which I feel like I can talk about now because it's been a long time, but that will help you tremendously, depending on how your school kind of is and what you're able to do. Quickly, I'll say that what I did for all of my new patients is I talked to them over the phone first or email. I did ask them some questions to help me fill out the personal information part of the chart so that when I had them in clinic, all of that would have been filled out. And that saved me 20 minutes. And as you know, as a student, saving you 20 minutes in clinic can make a difference between finishing a patient early and not. But I have a lot more tips for you that I will share in the next video because there's tons actually. So I hope this helped to just sort of, you know, keep you smiling. Try not to be sad in school. I know it's hard, but you know, try to stay organized, get enough sleep, do something fun for yourself on the weekends, not every weekend because you will probably have to study or do tests or work on projects or assignments, but try to do something nice though for yourself because depending on your program, it could be 2 years or 3 years and that's a long time. So you need to try to find that happy medium between studying as much as you can, doing an excellent job, and having fun, go shopping, you know, things like that. Plus, if you don't know, I do offer a student special where if you're in your first semester and you sign up with Dentalelle Tutoring, it's amazing. It's called the Dentalelle Student Program, where I actually help you guys every step of the way, tutoring, mock exams, pep talks, whatever you need. Every step of the way. I will put the link in this YouTube video. But yeah, have a look. I am happy to help. I know school's tough. Believe me, I speak from experience. I still have nightmares about it, but things can be made easier. So keep on smiling. I will stop the video for now and stay tuned for the next video where I will be talking to you guys about how to, you know, make clinic a lot easier for you. Okay, so I will talk to you guys all very, very soon.